Hey Hoopheads, Brad here, and today I want to talk about Pascal Siakam's game against the Boston Celtics. It's no secret that Pascal has struggled early in the season, but against Boston I thought he looked better than the previous games as he dropped 22 points on 7 of 15 shooting, 2 for 5 from downtown, and got to the free throw line 7 times. Obviously that's not some outstanding game or anything, we've seen him perform better than that, but it's right around his averages last year, and I describe it as a pretty solid outing. But I also saw a lot of people online trashing him, calling it another bad performance, saying he wasn't affecting the defense, wasn't aggressive against smaller players. So I decided to go back through the game and watch a little more closely. So this video contains literally every possession where Pascal Siakam touched the ball, and we're going to look and see what he did right and where there's room for improvement. And when I mean it includes every possession where he touched the ball, I mean literally every single one, like this one here where he just passes it and then makes a cut and never touches the ball again. I want it to be thorough and make sure we don't miss anything. On this one, Siakam's bringing it up. You see Tristan Thompson is back waiting for him, and Thompson is trying to force him to the middle, and the reason for that is that Daniel Theis is sagging way off of Aaron Baines, not a threat from outside, and so that cuts off his drive to the basket. Siakam wisely pulls it back out. The Raptors get into some other action, and we wind up getting an OG Anunoby 3 at the end of this, and he misses it, but not a bad play from Siakam there. And now VanVleet and Siakam pushing it in transition, looking for some kind of opening. There isn't one, so they reset it. And as Lowry attacks off the dribble, getting everybody's attention, you see Siakam drift up to the elbow, and then he waits there patiently while the Raptors kick it out and swing it around, and he buries the jumper. As I mentioned, 2 for 5, 40% in this game, and that's a shot you want him to be taking. And now as VanVleet pulls it out, he's going to pitch it to Siakam. Siakam gives it right back and then sets a screen on Brown, and VanVleet drives right at Thompson while Siakam pops out for the 3 to force the switch. And now VanVleet pulls it back out, passes to Siakam. Siakam gives it right back to him, says attack this mismatch. Fred does exactly that and buries the 3 over top of him. Siakam gets the assist. And now as Siakam gets the pass from Lowry, tries the crossover, loses the handle. His handle's been a little bit shaky this year, but OG recovers, gets it back to him, and then Siakam in the triple threat, jabbing, and as soon as Thompson tries to switch back onto OG, Siakam puts up the 3 and drains it from the top of the arc. And now you see Siakam switching on to Jason Tatum. Tatum kicks it to Waters, and you see Siakam stay in the middle of the court to cut off a drive, and then as the pass goes out to Tatum, runs out to run him off the three-point line, but then stays sat on that right hand. Tatum's not able to get it to go, and then Lowry with the outlet to Siakam. He gets one dribble and a nice aggressive move from Tremont Waters. Siakam able to recover it though, and then kicks it out to VanVleet for the open 3, and even though Siakam lost that ball and got it back, him pushing it in transition like that is what opens up that shot opportunity for VanVleet. And now as VanVleet curls off the Siakam screen, you see he drives right at Pascal's man, once again to force the switch, and now Siakam's got a much smaller guy on him, so what does he do? He takes him into the post. Lowry gives him a great entry pass, and then watch the defense react, and Siakam takes his time, waiting until Jason Tatum fully commits to the double team, and then he kicks it out to Lowry, swing pass to Fred VanVleet. He's going to hit the open 3, and that doesn't show up in the box score for Siakam, but that shot is created by him forcing that double team and passing out of it at the right time. Now VanVleet pushing in transition. As he attacks the rim, you see Siakam coming out to the elbow. VanVleet kicks it out, swing pass, Siakam's wide open, puts up the open 3, doesn't go in, but that's alright. That's a good open 3 that he should always be taking, especially if he's already hit a couple. Now as the Raptors get the stop, you see Siakam jars the ball out of Tristan Thompson's hands. They get out in transition and he doesn't even bounce it, just throws a beautiful lefty pass ahead to OG Anunoby. Not able to get it to go, but he is fouled on the play. A great lefty one-handed pass on the run, leading OG perfectly. Would have been nice if OG could have finished, but c'est la vie. And now Siakam bringing it up, hands it off to Malachi, and then not really super involved in the play as Malachi and OG work some two-man game on the far side. Siakam sets a screen for OG eventually and then dives toward the basket. And he's going to hang out there for a minute as the ball goes to VanVleet in the corner, and Fred eventually drives, attracting 2 defenders. Could have found Siakam for the pass, but he puts it up instead. Can't complain too much though, he was 13 for 20 on the game. And Siakam gets fouled, pushed in the back by Semi Ojeleye going up for the board. And this is one of the plays where Siakam touches the ball but doesn't really do anything. So I'll just take this second to point out that we are still in the first quarter, and all the good stuff that you've seen from Siakam has all happened in the first 6 or 7 minutes of the game here. And now coming out of transition, Siakam's matched up with Daniel Theis. He's going to dribble him down into the post, and here he takes a fadeaway, and I think that's a mistake. It would be great if when he picks up his dribble here, he pivots and then pivots again to get a step around him toward the baseline and puts up a little floater there instead of a fader. Probably could have had better shot selection on that one. And now you see Siakam screen for Malachi Flynn, then he screens for Van Vliet, and as Van Vliet clears out, Siakam gets the ball, and now he's going to be the pick and roll ball handler as Boucher sets the screen. Tice is shading towards him, and he just throws the nice pass over the top right on the money to Boucher, who goes up and gets fouled. Quality playmaking from Pascal. And then Pascal finds Ogilvy on him, and immediately he wants to attack. He gives it to Van Vliet and sets up at the elbow, and then he's just going to back Ogilvy down. Malachi cuts through eventually, and watch Siakam again waiting for the double team to come, and once it finally commits, then he kicks it out to Van Vliet, who drains the three once again. He had a great game, 35 points, and another wide open shot being created by Pascal Siakam's offense and the attention that he's generating from the defense. On this one, nothing too fancy or complicated. He gets the ball at the top, and Chris Boucher screens for him. Ogilvy switches onto him. Siakam sizing him up, pulls up for the three. He misses this one. Maybe not the best shot, but it's also not that bad of a shot. Pascal kind of has the green light from downtown with the volume that they need him to score at. And then this is another one where Siakam touches the ball, but they're not really running the play through him or for him. You see the Celtics are really walling off the paint against Lowry, and as it goes back out to Baines here, this is where last year Gasol might have found Van Vliet streaking to the basket, or maybe instead of immediately giving up when Grant Williams is overplaying Siakam, he would have waited a second longer so Siakam could cut back door. But instead, the ball goes back to Lowry. He comes off the screen, tries to throw the bounce pass to Baines, can't get it through. That's going to be out of bounds off the Celtics. And now as Pritchard steps up to get over the screen, Van Vliet's going to reject it, and watch the way Siakam steps in front of Pritchard's body so that he's basically sealed out of the play. Van Vliet drops it back to him, and Siakam finds Baines, who misses the little push shot from the baseline. He was 0 for 5 in this one. And now Siakam and Van Vliet get an early switch here. Siakam has a much smaller guy on him, and he starts to take him into the post, but one of the things the Celtics really do well is switching off the ball. So as Fred is trying to make the entry pass, Waters and Thompson switch. One way to counter that will be for Siakam to try to get the ball on the perimeter and then back him down. But with the much bigger Thompson on him, he elects to go for the pull-up jumper instead. Again, this is kind of like a whatever shot. It's not that great, it's not that bad, but I do think he can do a better job of exploiting that mismatch if he catches it on the perimeter first. And this is another play where Siakam only touches the ball once. Stanley Johnson a little bit out of control, so Siakam gives him an outlet. Almost a turnover on the Stanley pass, but Lowry's able to corral it. He gets into the teeth of the defense, finds Stanley Johnson, maybe could swing it to Pascal in the corner, but instead he drives right into Grant Williams and gets called for the offensive foul. And then this is vintage Siakam. In transition, finds a smaller guy on him, takes him down low, spins off his body, puts it up at the rim. Love to see some easy buckets like that from him. And on this play, as the Raptors work it at the top, Siakam eventually gets Tatum switched on to him, and he attacks off the dribble going left, but you can see Baines is right there. Tristan Thompson is defending him, and as Baines goes out, Thompson just stays there, so that makes this a pretty tough finish, especially with the left, especially with the length of Tatum on him. Probably wishes he could have had that one back, or that Baines' man wasn't crowding him so much. And here Siakam gets the ball as he curls off the screen to the free throw line, and immediately there are multiple defenders on him. Plus again, you see Baines in the dunker spot, so Tristan Thompson is helping off of him. And you might want Siakam to do something here, but what really can he do? He's pretty crowded, so he just has to kick it out. The ball goes to Fred, and then he comes up to set a screen. Fred rejects the screen, drives, does a great job of attracting the defense's attention, but Baines not able to finish it. Kind of a frustrating stretch here for Baines, and you see why he got benched for the second half maybe. And now you see the Celtics do the easy switch. Pritchard onto Siakam, so Lowry gives him the ball, says attack that mismatch, and Siakam does exactly that. Drives right at him, gets fouled. They called it on the floor. Good aggression though, trying to get to the rim with the smaller guy on him. And now the Raptors run that same screen again. The same switch happens. Now you see Siakam with Pritchard on him, and maybe should post him up here, but Lowry fires it to OG, and Siakam kind of clears out for OG to go one-on-one against Tatum. To be honest, that's probably not what I would have done. I'd like to try to exploit that mismatch, but also it's hard to argue with the result of the play as OG drives and drops it off to Boucher. Nice little drive and dish for Anunoby. And now in transition, Siakam's the last man up the floor, wide open at the top of the arc, puts up the three, Doesn't get it to go, but I never mind him taking those wide open threes. He's a good enough shooter, and the Raptors' half-court offense is bad enough that you're probably not going to get a more efficient shot than that throughout the course of the possession. And here you've got Siakam with Ojeleye on him. He attacks right away, drives down on him, and spins. And as he comes to the middle, Ojele's in pretty nice defending position, and Kyle Lowry is wide open in the far corner. Siakam misses him, and he misses the shot. This is definitely an example of where Siakam could have made a better decision. And now into the second half, Siakam with the ball. Lowry comes to set the screen and slips it. Tatum switches onto him, and Siakam just attacks right off the dribble. He gets a step on Tatum, who gets called for the foul. Good aggression by Siakam. Glad to see him getting to the free throw line again. And now off the scramble off the offensive rebound, Ojeleye tries to attack the rim and Euro step around Siakam, who is having none of it, blocks his shot into oblivion, and then he takes a solo trip coast to coast, Euro steps around Jaylen Brown to finish with the and one on the blocking foul. Great two-way play there from Pascal. And now you've got Siakam, gets the ball, tries to drive on Jaylen Brown. You see Ojeleye helping off his man in the corner. Siakam kicks it to the corner, but Ojeleye, a nice recovery. You could maybe try to force feed Siakam in the post against Brown here, but that didn't go so great in the playoffs. So it goes back out to the top to VanVleet. Siakam clears out to give him room to work, and a nice bucket by VanVleet, attacking Tristan Thompson on the switch. Hits him with a little stop and go action. And now as Siakam gets it here, you see OG Anunoby coming up to set the screen. And as he does, Siakam just gives a little fake like he's going to go towards the screen, and that's enough to let him get a step on Brown. That lane is wide open. He goes all the way and dunks it. And that's a great read by Pascal. He faked to the left because he saw that's where Tristan Thompson was with the help defense, then went to the right where it was wide open all the way to the rim. Now you see Siakam and Lowry working it a little trap on Lowry, so he throws the pass over the top to Siakam, who does a nice spin here to get into the lane, but once again he's surrounded by guys, and this would be another example where he could kick it out to the corner for an open three. I don't mind that aggression from Siakam. It's good for him to be trying to score in the paint, but also that's a pretty good shot for VanVleet in the corner there. Now Siakam gets it at the top. You can see Tristan Thompson trying to cut off that drive to the right. And while that's going on, Len sets the screen for Norm, who gets the ball up high above the three-point line, maybe a little too high, not able to get it to go. And here Siakam finds himself with Pritchard on him, takes him down into the post. Lowry throws the pass over the top, but then Pritchard, a great move to pull the chair on Siakam, gets him off balance, gets called for the travel. I mean, that's not great for Siakam, but it also is a really nice play by Pritchard. I'm not too mad at that. And that was Siakam's last play of the third quarter. He came back in the fourth, but it was pretty much all garbage time. He got 4 free throws and a couple of putbacks. But really, this is like an average game from Siakam. He wasn't elite in this. We've seen him perform way better, obviously, but this is not a bad game. This was a dramatic improvement from his earlier performances, and maybe you could say the Raptors should be running more of the offense through him, but I showed you literally every single play where he touched the ball, and you can't really say that he did a ton of things wrong. There are definitely a couple things he could tune up, but really a lot more to love than to hate in this game, and hopefully Siakam can take this game and build on it, and we get back to seeing some of those elite performances like we saw last season, where he was like crossing dudes up and dropping 30 on them. Thanks for watching. If you like what I do, you can support me financially at patreon.com/toomuchhoops in exchange for a little bit of exclusive content. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button and let me know what you thought of Siakam's offense in the comments.